Typically my videos are a little bit more lighthearted, upbeat, funny, but this one I wanted to try to make it spooky as I could. Hello everybody, today in honor of Halloween we are going to be doing a spooky get ready with me. Now something I haven't mentioned to you guys before is that my house happens to be haunted. So today what we are going to do as I film the get ready with me, I'm going to be telling you some of the ghost stories that have happened in my house. Now a lot of you out there might not believe in ghosts or spirits, and that is perfectly okay. I understand completely. But me personally, I have to believe because of everything I've seen, everything I've heard, everything I've experienced. It's just too hard for me to be a non-believer. But I do think ghost stories are fun to listen to even if you don't believe them, so I hope you guys enjoy my little spooky get ready with me. As we're going through, I'm just going to be applying stuff to my face. I'm not really going to be going into detail about them, but I will make a list of everything that I'm using down below in the description. First, a little background about my house. Now my house was built in the 1930s, so it is relatively old. There have been several owners of the house, and I'm not really quite sure how many because I haven't really looked into it, but one of my best friends actually lived in this house when she was younger. Because she was so young when she lived here, and she didn't really tell us about any creepy things that happened, but she did say that her family had experiences. Me and my family personally moved into the house around 16 years ago, so over time we have gathered a lot of experiences here. I most likely will not have time to go into all of them today, but I'm going to talk about the major ones that have occurred. So when I lived upstairs when I was younger, I didn't originally have too many experiences, but I do remember creepy things happening, and I couldn't explain them because I was really young. One of the most common occurrences as I lived upstairs is that my stuff would just go missing. Like I would set something out and I would come back and it would be gone. And then days later I would find it in the weirdest locations. One time I misplaced my phone for a little while, and I eventually found it in a shoe in the back of my closet. Why it was in a shoe in the back of my closet, I have absolutely no idea. Another time I was getting ready for school and I set a cami out on my bed to wear underneath a shirt. And when I came back, the cami was gone, and I looked for it forever, was so frustrated, couldn't find it anywhere, and then 2 weeks later, I was cleaning my room. I pulled up a cushion of a chair that was in my room, and I found the cami folded underneath the cushion, like nicely folded, laying underneath the cushion. I have no idea how it got there, why it was there. I know I didn't put it there. I'm an only child, so I don't have siblings that are playing tricks on me, and I know my parents didn't put it there, so I have no idea how it got there. The next type of occurrence that happened in my room really wasn't like a physical experience that I saw or heard, but it was a feeling I got. So randomly, every now and then, every couple months, I would get this feeling that I wasn't allowed to be in my room. I wasn't supposed to be in my room. I wasn't welcome there. So instead of sleeping in my room, I would sleep on the couch in the room adjacent to mine. So I would stay there for a couple weeks until I felt that feeling go away and I thought that I was allowed to go back in my room. One of the most terrifying experiences I've had in this house occurred in my room as well. One night, as I was lying in bed, I was just finishing up watching a television show and I had just turned over. I could still hear the TV. I knew I wasn't asleep. I had rolled over to where this ear was in the pillow and this ear was out to the room and my back was to the door. And I was sitting there, and in the background I could hear the little commercial playing, and all of a sudden this voice came, and it was the deepest, most growly, raspy voice I had ever heard. It came up into my ear and it said, "Don't get." And it was so loud and so deep, it literally made my ear vibrate. And I immediately leaped out of bed, ran downstairs sobbing, and I told my mom what happened. And she came up and looked around and everything was fine. There wasn't anybody in my room. But that voice was just so deep in my ear and so loud. I didn't give it the chance to finish what it was saying. That might have been rude, but I wasn't about to be possessed up in that room. After that, needless to say, I didn't stay in my room for a couple of weeks. Upon moving back into my room, I wanted to switch around my furniture, move my bed so my back wouldn't be towards the door, and just kind of get a fresh start. So I moved my bed to where it was next to the closet, which probably wasn't the smartest thing I could have done. I kid you not, for about 6 months straight, my closet door, every single night, I would hear the doorknob turn and it open about this much to where I was staring into a pitch blackness into my closet every single night. And because my house is so old, all of the doors are like big wooden heavy. I have like the doorknobs with like the skeleton keyhole. They are like heavy doors. They don't just open just because. So eventually I got tired of my door opening every single night. It started off really creepy. It remained really creepy, but I also got annoyed. So I started stacking things in front of my door. I would shove my laundry basket up against it. I would put books, anything I could get that was heavy, to prevent my door from creaking open every night. I would shove in front of my door before bed. This did prevent the door from opening, but still, for several months after, every night I could hear the doorknob trying to turn but not being able to actually open. Eventually, for so long after I kept stacking stuff in front of the doorknob stopped turning and everything went quiet. This does not, however, mean that all of the creepy stuff stopped happening. To this day, I do not know if this is a dream or if I was awake for this, because it was so incredibly real. I remember all the emotions I felt. I remember seeing this. I remember hearing it. I remember everything. And literally still thinking about this right now gives me the creeps. So one night as I was laying in bed, my bed was still next to my closet. The closet didn't open, the doorknob didn't turn, but what I hear is like a creaking next to the side of my bed. And I open my eyes, and all I see are little fingers creeping over the edge of my bed, and then a little set of eyes popping up next to the side of my bed. And all I could see was this much of a little boy with straight black hair across his forehead and deep set eyes just staring at me. We made eye contact for 15 or 20 seconds. I couldn't scream, I couldn't get up, I couldn't run away. I was frozen in fear. And then eventually he just sunk back down below the bed and went away. And literally thinking about that still just gives me the absolute creeps. I do not know if it was a dream. I don't know if it was reality. I don't know what it was, but it has stuck with me ever since. Things weren't only isolated to the upstairs, things happened all over the house as well, but many of the occurrences that I experienced did happen upstairs because I lived up there for so long. But one of the most threatening experiences I had actually occurred downstairs in the shower. I was in the shower one evening and I was just standing there and I felt a prick on my back. I was like, oh, that hurt. But I thought maybe, I don't know, it could have been a spider, because yes, my house has spiders as well. Ghosts and spiders, what a fantastic house. And I turned around and looked at my back. In a very strange location, I was bleeding. It was right here. Not a place where I could have accidentally scratched myself, not a place where any type of blade would have hit me. But as I turned around, I was actually bleeding, like fresh, new blood. And I was like, this is incredibly strange. So I wrapped up and I called my mom into the bathroom. And she took a look at it and she said, Allie, did you scratch yourself? I said no. On my back, I had little scratch marks that were bleeding, like fresh blood coming out of them. So that one was very strange. That's probably the only time I've been like physically interacted with. Maybe there was another explanation, but really, I don't know what it could have been. Also, on the main floor of our house, we had this old hotel bell, one of those that you had to press the top to make it ring. And my mom got it at an antique store, and most of the things in our home do come from antique stores. Everything is old, everything has like a history. So that could also be kind of an explanation where all this stuff is coming from. So this old hotel bell sat in our kitchen on our like little coffee stand, and it sat there for a while until things started going weird. We've put it away now because we just don't want it out anymore. Every now and then we would hear a ding from around the house, and we weren't really sure where it was coming from at first until one day my mom and I were sitting in the kitchen not 5 feet from this bell, and it just went ding really loud right in front of us, and we kind of panicked because we finally figured out where these rings were coming from in the house, and it really freaked us out. At this point, we didn't move the bell, it stayed where it was. Then one day my mom was in the living room and she was sitting on the sofa, and all of a sudden she just heard ding 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 ding, like someone was banging, just absolutely banging on the bell. And that really disturbed her, and then she put the bell away for good. Other smaller things happen in the house, like we hear footsteps all the time. I've heard my dad call my name before when he wasn't even home. We hear the back door open a lot. We smell the smell of tobacco even though nobody smokes. Just things like that happen often here. But some of the more recent occurrences have been just within the past few months. I moved away for a little while and then had to move back home. So within the past few months, there have been more things happening. So just the other week, me, my dad, and my boyfriend were all standing in my room, and my mom was in the living room watching a movie, and she was just watching something, you know, really mild, not like a horror film or anything like that. And we were all sitting there just talking, and we hear, "Robin!" It sounded like a distress call from the room, and my dad's name is Robin. So we all like turned our heads and looked out the door, and I was like, "Is mom okay?" Like, I was like, that didn't sound very good. He stood there for a second, and dad was like, "I better go check on her." So he walked into the room, the living room, and I heard him say, "Yes, you did." I was like, "What is he talking about?" So I walked in there, and he said, "Allie, mom said she didn't say a word." I was like, "That's impossible. We all heard you scream, yell, Robin." And she said, "No, I didn't do anything." And we all three heard it at the same exact time, so I have no idea how we can explain that one. Something else that recently occurred was my boyfriend, who is absolutely terrified of my house. He refuses to go anywhere at night by himself in the house. He will not go and get a drink of water. He will not go to the restroom by himself because he is very, very afraid of our house. But one night he had to use the restroom. It was late. I didn't want to get up and go with him, so he went on his own. The restroom is right next to my bedroom. I can hear everything from the bathroom, and I could hear him in there like moving around and that kind of stuff, and I heard him giggling, and I was like, why is this weirdo giggling in the bathroom? It was like a He came back. I said, "Nick, why were you giggling in there?" And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I could hear you in that bathroom going He said, "Allie, I 100% was not giggling in that bathroom. What did you hear?" And I told him again. I was like, "Nick, it was giggling, like you were laughing at something." And he said, "No, I wasn't." We told my mom about this because we always share our scary incidences here, and she said, "Okay, I have to tell you something." She said, "A while back, I was sleeping on the sofa, and I was awoken to the sound of a little girl giggling in my ear." She told me she didn't want to tell me about it because she didn't want to freak me out, but it's something that she had heard in the house before. She asked me what the giggle sounded like, and I told her, and she said, "Yeah, that's exactly it." And needless to say, we all got pretty freaked out. I don't know, guys, there have just been so many things that have happened in this house, like I can't even remember them all. One time my cousins were upstairs watching The Grudge, out of all movies to be watching, and they were sitting there and the door just slammed shut on them. They freaked out, they ran downstairs, they won't go back up there anymore. I have family members who refuse to sleep upstairs because they've seen things, heard things. One time my aunt was sitting on the edge of the bed, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a ping pong ball flew over her shoulder and bounced across the floor. And one, we don't own ping pong balls or a ping pong table, and two, she was up there alone. We have heard stomping up and down the stairs. My mom's been in the basement exercising, and the TV will go on and off no matter what TV is down there. My dad has said that he has seen and felt a presence in his bedroom before. He said that one night as he was attempting to go to sleep, he said that a dark presence appeared at the end of his bed and proceeded to come around the side of the bed where he was sleeping and hold him down. Now, my dad is a complete, absolute skeptic. He 100% will be like, "Well, it could have been anything besides a ghost." So for him to say that he experienced this is kind of big. I don't know, you guys might think I'm absolutely crazy, but there are so many people that have had experiences here. It's just really hard to kind of dismiss everything that's happened. Even recently, we babysat a dog that refused to go upstairs. It was like one of those horror movies where the dog always knows that something's up, the owners never do. Alright, sorry guys, I went ahead and put my eyeliner and mascara on off camera because there's no way I could talk and do that at the same time. I just used this Essence eyeliner that we got in Ipsy, and I don't really like it. It's already drying out on me. And then I used the Supersizer Fiber mascara. But anyway, as far as my haunted house goes, I don't know, I would love your all's opinions. I would love if you guys think you could debunk some things, or I would just love if you all would share some of your scary stories with us, some of your ghost experiences, some of your haunted stories, anything. I mean, my family absolutely loves ghost stories, and my house isn't the most haunted house in our family. There are instances at my grandma's house that are even scarier than things that happen at my house. There is one event that had occurred in our family, and it is named Edda's Ghost, and it is like movie quality scary stuff. Like, it is movie quality ghost story, and I don't know, one day I might be able to share that with you guys if you would like. Alright, but this is my finished look for today. This is my first Get Ready With Me, so I hope it didn't suck too terribly. Typically my videos are a little bit more lighthearted, upbeat, funny, but this one I wanted to try to make it spooky as I could. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what your ghost stories are. I would love to hear them. It's my favorite thing. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day and a super fun Halloween. I will see you next time. Bye!